What's up friends, Johnny May here, and in today's lesson I want to show you how you can take any chord and make it instantly sound jazzy with one of my favorite tricks to use at the piano. And so with this trick you can take an ordinary chord progression like this and make it sound like this. So let's dive in. Okay, we're going to start with the first chord. You're probably familiar with this chord. It is a simple C major. So how can you take a major chord like this and instantly make it sound jazzy? Well, there's a very simple formula you can use called the 3-6-2-5-1. Okay, 3-6-2-5-1. And so here's how it works. Basically, a C major chord comes from a C major scale, right? And a C major scale has these 7 notes. So if you gave a number to each note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, you have 7 notes from the scale. So here's what you do. You take this formula, 3-6-2-5-1, you start with the scale, and you go 3, 6, this is the second note of the scale, 5, and 1. Okay, you see what we just did? And so now you've just taken a very basic C major chord and you've made it sound a lot jazzier by adding these extra notes to the chord. Now, the technical name for this chord is called a C6-9, but don't worry too much about the names of the chords. They will make sense over time. I should also mention that this chord is also called a quartal chord, or a chord based in fourths, and that's because all of the notes are a fourth interval from one another. Now, something that I encourage you to do is practice these chords on other major chords. So for example, let's say you had an F major and you wanted to make it sound jazzy. Well, take your F major scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then use the formula for major chords. And recall that the formula is 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. And so if you bring it down, it's a very cool way of playing an F chord in a more jazzy way. Okay, you could also try this on a G major chord, right? There's a standard G major. Well, what is the scale for G major? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So let's build the chord. 3, 6, 2, 5, 1. Doesn't that sound awesome? All right, before I teach you the formula for minor chords, if you're enjoying this video, please hit the like button, and if you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe for more videos just like this. All right, are you ready to learn minor chords? Minor chords are very simple. So let's say you had a C minor like this, and you want to make it sound jazzy. Well, the formula for minor chords is 4-7-3-5-1. Okay, 4-7-3-5-1, except the 7 and the 3 are flat. Okay, so if you go back to your C major scale and you play 4, 7, 3, 5, 1, okay, then you want to flat the 7, that's going to come down, and the 3rd, that's going to come down. And play this chord. Sounds gorgeous. And it's really nice if you put a low C on the bottom and then put the chord down here. Doesn't that sound beautiful? And again, it's just a much more interesting way of playing a minor chord. Now, the technical name for this chord is called a C minor 11, but again, don't worry too much about the names of these chords. They will make sense over time. So I encourage you to try this in some other keys. For example, let's say you wanted to take an F minor chord and make it sound beautiful and jazzy like this. Well, remember that the formula is 4-7-3-5-1. So we go back to an F major scale. These are all the notes. And then we build the chord 4, 7, 3, 5, 1. But remember that we flat the 7 and the 3rd. Okay? So now put that F on the bottom and play the chord. Doesn't that sound awesome? And so this is a great way of making chords sound jazzy. You can also try this on a G minor chord. There's a standard G minor. How do we make it sound beautiful and jazzy? Well, we take the G major scale and then we build the chord 4, 7, 3, 5, 1, and then we lower the 7th down and the 3rd down. And you have this beautiful G minor 11 chord. By the way, I wanted to mention that the lesson sheet music that you're seeing up here on the top left of your screen is downloadable and printable over at pianowithjohnny.com. You can also change the key of this entire lesson with the click of one button with our smart sheet music, so I'll put a link to that below. All right, the last chord that I want to show you how to make sound jazzy, and you're going to see this chord a lot in music, is called a 7th chord, or a dominant 7 chord, okay? And let's say you were playing in the key of C, you'll oftentimes see this chord on the 5 chord, which will often be like a G7, okay? So how do you take a 7th chord like this and make it sound jazzy? Well, the formula for 7th chords is 3-7-2-5-1. Okay, 3, 7, 2, 5, 1. But for the 7, you're gonna lower it a half step, okay? So we have a C7 chord. How do you make it sound jazzy? Well, you go back to your C major scale, right? And then you build this 3, 7, 2, 5, 1, but you're gonna lower the 7th a half step. And now play this chord. Doesn't that sound amazing? And so again, I recommend that you take that C on the bottom and then you play it in the middle. And again, this is a very cool way of playing a dominant 7 chord. And so I recommend that you try this on some other chords. Like, let's say you had an F7 like this, okay? Well, how do you make it sound jazzy? Well, go back to your F major scale and then go to your formula. 3, 7, 2, 5, 1, and then you lower the 7th, and there it is. Doesn't that sound awesome? And you can also do this on a G chord, right? Let's say you had a G7 chord, right? Again, a very common chord that you'll see if you're playing a tune in the key of C major. So we have a G7, well, go to your G major scale, and we're gonna go 3, 7, 2, 5, 1, and then you lower your 7th, and there it is, the G7. And again, it sounds way cooler than playing a G7 like this. By the way, I wanted to mention, if you're enjoying this topic and you want to learn more about how to add notes to your chords and the different combinations of notes that I like to play and the different types of voicings that I like to use, check out our chord extensions course over at pianowithjonny.com. I'll put a link to that below. All right, the last thing I want to do is I want to show you how to apply this idea to a chord progression. And so we're going to take a very simple chord progression in C. So like C major, F major, and then D minor, and then G major. Okay, so this is like a 1, 4, 2, 5 chord progression. So how do you make it sound jazzy? Well, your C chord, we play like this, okay? Our F chord, we play like this, right? Our D chord, we play like this. And then our G chord, we play like this, okay? Let's play this with the included backing track. Here we go, C, F, D, and the G. Hey, thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the lesson, please let me know in the comments, and also be sure to check out pianowithjonny.com. We have over 1,000 step-by-step lessons for all playing levels where you'll learn your favorite songs, styles, and how to improvise at the piano. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.